Hello, everybody. Hope you had a beautiful week. Here we are on Friday, and I'm trying to keep my promise with you. Thank you, everybody who's joining me. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is my week's update. Anybody who follows me on any social network knows that I do a lot of different projects. And some of you have been saying, hey, why don't you tell us what you're working on? And though I'm an author and writer, I find it so much easier to talk to you. And if you show up live and ask me questions, it's even better for me. Makes my day. So we're going to spend 10 minutes max. And if I can wrap it up in 5, I can get into my weekend. So I'll do that. So this week, first, for those of you who are on YouTube, I'm going to share what new content we have each week on YouTube. And the one that's coming up is about synthetic data and fake media. And that was a talk done by Manon Dunnan of IoT SenseMaker from Amsterdam. It's a meetup. And Manon came and spoke at our weekly Wednesday a couple weeks back. And we've got that recording ready for you right here on YouTube. So if you're following my channel, you should be able to get access to that and enjoy that. It's an amazing discussion and details about what is synthetic media. And what I got out of it is it's not just about what is fake news, what is synthetic media, but there's a gray area there. And you'll have to look at that in perspective because there are good and bad use cases for everything in technology. So hope you enjoyed that and follow Manon and her amazing work and go to IoT SenseMaker's meetup because it's online. Many of these things are online these days. She usually does her meetup in person, but she's also doing an online version because of the pandemic. So hope you enjoyed that. Talking of how there is a gray area and everything in tech is not just all good or all bad, brings me to the biggest thing we got done this week was we finished up our career pivot to AI ethics course on Business School of AI. It's been a 3 weeks module for last 3 weeks, 2 hours. And I've been doing that with the amazing Susanna Raj, who got me to think about how all AI cannot just be done without thinking about ethics. So I've been teaching about autonomous vehicle business, IoT business, artificial intelligence business, and AI, about building AI for product managers. And I've had ethics as just as a small module in there. So now I realize how ethics is at the center of it. And I don't know, as a technology futurist, whatever I'm focusing on seems to be on top of the hype curve. I don't know, how I'm kind of at that point always. And right when I'm focusing on AI ethics, there is so much talk, so much material, so much, around AI ethics that's coming to me. Part of it could be that it's just my feed that is adapting itself to the collaborative filtering of showing me exactly what I want to hear based on what I'm thinking about, maybe what I'm liking, what I'm reading. So that's highly possible in the world of recommendation engines. But I also see there are activities that is happening relative to that. So recently I shared on my LinkedIn about how there is an EU initiative to create a label for products that would certify whether the product is an ethical product from a data ethics perspective. So data ethics is about privacy, security, respecting data ownership, and Europe leads it, with EU leads it specifically with GDPR. And there are several GDPR lookalike privacy policies that has been adopted by California and few other states in US. There's one in for Latin America. At least those two I have seen globally. And so it's beautiful when EU starts discussing something about data ethics and how to set compliance. But then having a label, think of it like a food label. I buy something and it says it is a non-GMO or it is organic or things like that, right? Like that, when you buy a product or service, what if you could have a label to say what they said about their data ethics and privacy? Did they respect that? Was there a data breach? Are they actually storing your data? Are they collecting your data for some reason and then actually using for some other reason and then not coming back and getting your permission for that? So those are all data ethical issues, and average person might not think about it. So now if you have a label doing that, label saying that, then you can say, hey, I'm going to buy only ethical products, or I can watch out and question whether I need to use that product. So I think that's an interesting idea and a concept. They're ready to test this with couple different companies. But what I found interesting in the article is this one is not just something that one company is thinking about. This is something that 12 different companies or 12 different organizations are actually working on it. So I wrote about this, and then my student Alda Abraham came and asked, who is actually responsible to validate and label this data. So what I found is, right in the article where I shared, the Swiss Digital Initiative SDI is working on the article, and they found 12 different global groups working on it. And one of them is a group called For Humanity, and I'm hearing about them again 2 times this week. I heard from multiple sources. And Merv Hickok of at AI ethicist.org, she's one of the 100 brilliant women in AI ethics 2021 list. From Women in AI Ethics, led by Mia Dan. So she's somebody worth following. And she's actually somebody who is part of For Humanity. And I don't know whether she's specifically working on this label initiative, but looks like she's working on creating some standards in a very global way. So I would definitely recommend going checking out Merv Hickok's activity. In fact, when I was doing this promotion for my class, and we had this master class with Dia Win of AWS come and teach for us this Thursday, I heard from some student who was actually taking one of Merv Hickok's class. So if you're interested in AI ethics, that's definitely something that I would recommend that you follow her. Okay, so coming back to what is happening this week, one of the things I promised is synthetic media, so you have that content ready. The other thing I've promised is, hey, well, how do you create a personal plan for yourself on learning AI? So I do a lot of free activities, so I'm happy to tell you that I also have some paid activities and courses that I teach in different universities or online at Business School of AI. So I share all of this content, and sometimes I get comments from at least from one person saying, "Hey, you're sharing too much free content," and I don't believe that hoarding content is going to help anybody. It's definitely not going to help me, but I believe the value is not just in the content. The value is in the interaction, in the conversation that comes when you're sharing content. So, like, you're watching this, maybe you're joining me live, or maybe you're going to come and look at this at a later time, and you start discussing about this either with me or with somebody else. Any of the topics on synthetic media or AI ethics, or how to create that learning journey towards learning AI. So the beauty of technology, the way it is today, and AI specifically, is that there is no one right way to build it. There is no one right way to build applications. Anything you build out there, there is going to be another way of interpreting it, that somebody else is going to do something that is not acceptable to you. So and also the way AI is built in industries, it is done by many different roles. That is why AI ethics seems to be climbing up onto the hype curve, because there's so many jobs, and they're not even called AI ethics, but internally they have the AI ethics requirements baked in, and there are like 75 jobs at least, average, that does not require any coding, and about 140 to 150 jobs that are available open globally at any given week. Rebecca Tweed actually is an AI ethicist who focuses on facial recognition, and she maintains this responsible AI job board as part of All Tech is Human. So check All Tech is Human. Go follow Rebecca Tweed if this is of interest. At least check the jobs. I've collected her version of her job from a couple weeks back and organized that to just get a landscape of what are these jobs, what are the requirements, what does this look like, and group them together. So it's businessschoolofai.com/jobs, and you can go take a look at that, and each is a clickable link and you can go watch the jobs. So coming back to your learning journey, So I have two activities. One is I spoke at IoT Slam that happened on 24th. IoT Slam has a lot of interesting, on-demand content that they give you. So that's worth following and, checking out interesting speakers, including me. Other than that, I spoke about business innovation using AI and data science, in case you're curious about what I was talking about. That's a interesting, online community. I think that's the biggest online community for IoT, which is Internet of Things. But they also cover data and AI and a whole bunch of topics, because IoT has kind of become a catch-all bucket for everything. So I did that. There was also the Computer Vision Festival that happened this week. And again, they had a bunch of interesting speakers and a lot of keynotes, and some of them are free, some of them were paid. So you still can go and sign up and then get their on-demand content if you want to look at it. Again, when I'm talking about any of this, I don't have any affiliation. I'm not owned by any brand. So, I give recommendations if I think it's interesting, useful content, and especially if the site doesn't show, bad ads at me. So check those two resources out. And then I am going to be speaking on 29th at a special event. It is called Storytellers with Olunene. Oluneye. So Storytellers with Oluneye. So Oluneye Oluwoli is the founder and storyteller. She's based out of Canada, and she's actually a congressional recognition recipient and a serial entrepreneur. So she has a very interesting live Q&A format with interesting speakers, and I think she runs an accelerator in Canada, trying to bring more entrepreneurs the access and opportunity to get more Black women and women of color onto the Canada entrepreneurship scene. So I'm going to be talking there, and of course I'm going to be talking about AI. So if that's interesting, I can get you guys invited. Okay. So the one other thing that is coming, I'm switching gears from my AI ethics course to my Stanford Continuing Studies class, Artificial Intelligence Bootcamp for Product and Business Managers. Many of you are asking, is there a foundation course on just learning what is AI, what is applied AI, what are the applications, what does the ecosystem look like, what is the landscape, the foundation pieces. So this is 5 weeks live on my Monday evening, my time, 7 to 9 here in Silicon Valley. So it's kind of a strange time for Europe, but I do have some students who join us from Europe and India, and Madrid and Brazil. But the classes will also be recorded, so anybody can join. If you're watching this from anywhere in the world, go to Stanford Continuing Studies. Just don't search for artificial intelligence, because there'll be many artificial intelligence courses. Mine is specifically called Artificial Intelligence Bootcamp for Product and Business Managers. It runs on Mondays, starts on July 19th, and runs for 5 weeks. And I'm going to have 3 speakers come in for half an hour through the classes based on the topic that we are going to cover. But if you're interested in AI product management, AI X design, general big time, high level overview and general feel of what is AI disruption in industry, that kind of thing, that would be of use to you. And if any of this which I'm talking about is something that you're considering, just talk to me. I'll tell you if that is not the right thing for you. For any of my classes, I'll tell you that. So to get to how do you create a personal plan on what is your learning journey to learn AI. So this morning I had a conversation with a group who was asking me about they want to create courses and they want to create levels of certification. And they said, how do you create the curriculum? How do you create the pedagogy? How AI is many things, and how do you think about it? So that is fresh on top of my mind. So it's perfect time I'm talking to you on this Friday evening on your learning journey towards AI. One is, I believe that, having a solid foundation on what is AI, how does it work, how it is powered by data, algorithms, and the modeling exercise. What does the modeling life cycle look like? to have a solid foundation of that is very, very critical for any job, any kind of thing that you want to do, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to go, bring AI in your city, you want to challenge something that somebody is doing and bring in regulations, doesn't matter. Having that solid understanding will get you a seat at the table, give you confidence, arm you well. The only challenge is most classes out there teach it at a technical level. So if you are able to learn Python or R or some kind of technology, then you can go deeper with that. Otherwise, I think there are very few options that will teach you at a high level but will give you the enough depth. I mean, one of my classes is that, but I'm not offering that right now. So get an understanding of AI, specifically applications in AI, what are the different possibilities, and machine learning are the two topics I was thinking. In fact, I've done a question answer. I've answered a question in Quora from a while back. So if you just Google my name and Quora, you'll be able to find a list of various different kind of machine learning courses that's available out there. And I've kind of said, this is high level, this is too shallow, this is too technical. I've just kind of organized that, and then I've given details on, okay, now if you know this stuff, how do you go build out your portfolio to show experience to kind of get started. So that's for learning machine learning. Beyond that, I would say, wherever you're coming from, the beauty with AI is, as I said earlier, AI ethics is kind of permeating into all the jobs, and that's not going to happen without a deeper understanding of AI. So whatever your role, whatever your function, it doesn't matter. You have a part in shaping AI, because AI is taking data, and data is not just pictures and image, pictures and sound and everything else, but it's our living truth. What are we thinking, what are we feeling, what are we doing with our families, what are we doing with our society, and then extra biometrics on our health biometrics, when we sleep, and all those things are collected by IoT. So there is, and of course weather pattern and all the public data too. So there's so much data, and everything is being fed to AI to train it to make it go change the world or automate the world in some form, which means it's going to automate our life, and we need to have a say in it. The beauty of all this is every data is ours, yours and mine, and uh, we become the training data. Sometimes when cameras are watching us, self-driving cars are watching us, we become the training data. So we have the choice to go change that AI, because we can train it the way we want it to do. So in fact, Susanna Raj had done this session on data ethics, on data bias, on variety of different bias. I have to go back and watch that back again, guys. This is on my YouTube from last week. The first half was Susanna's session on data bias, and the second half was Dia's on AI ethics and her, how she does that with customers. It's unbelievable. I watched that 3 times, and every time I look at it, Susanna teaches me something new. So looking at AI bias, understanding it, and understanding that AI is trying to bring the bias that we already have in our society and automate it, or is bringing the bias of people who are thinking myopically about their world and leaving behind some groups of people and creating a new truth. Either way, it's not what we want the world to be. We want the world to work for all of us, at least from each of us. If we start thinking about it, then it will work for all of us. So when you think about AI and getting into your journey, I would say at a fundamental level, learn machine learning in some form. And if you're absolutely, somebody who's, cannot code, does not want to code, talk to me. I'm happy to give you some pointers on what resources you can get started with. On Business School of AI, we have something called Weekly Wednesday that many of you are aware, that we come together as a team and learn from speakers and discussion. So you're welcome to join that. Go to businessschoolofai.com, click on Weekly Wednesday. Weekly Ved is what we're calling it for Weekly Wednesday, and then you'll find past recordings and stuff. And I believe there is a free AI resource course that's available also on Business School of AI. So when you poke around there, you should be able to sign up. But if you're serious about it, talk to me. But the foundation is, get the solid foundation of what is AI, how does it work, what is data modeling, and how this play comes together. The second important piece is to think about AI ethics and why ethics matters. How, what does that mean if data is biased, and if it is going to take agency from some people. So think about, look at AI from examples you're seeing as to what interests you, what scares you. And if you could go either of this route. If something interests you, you want to go build it, learn and work in that area, go for it. If something scares you, you want to drive regulation, you want to get involved to build it right, that's also another route you could go. And then you can take any job role, product managers, program managers, ML engineers. So I was talking this team, I was telling this morning about the recommendation I was giving them. So it could be you could be learning as a technical person and be a data science researcher building the models, or an ML engineer who's building the product on top of it, or a product manager who's guiding this from a customer perspective, or a data engineer, or anybody who's working in data variety of different roles to feed the data to train the model. Or you could be doing ML ops, which is the IT aspect of maintaining the versions of this AI. Or you could be the business owner who owns the data, has a real business problem that needs to be solved. So you could be a business development person, or any kind of business person, a program manager, or an operational role who's creating governance. So there's tons of possibilities. And then now AI is actually, being used by HR, by legal, by everybody. I saw an AI which says you can write love letters, you can write your marketing copy, and it's writing for us. And so we need inclusive writers to even go train that AI if you want to do that. But other than that, we need all kinds of people with humanities background to come and make AI more human to work for us. So think about it, get a foundation of machine learning, and get a foundation of what is AI ethics, why it matters for you, and then figure out, okay, what industry am I coming from, what role am I coming from, what can I do. So you can go the design route with AIX design, or you could go the route of actually building the product or guiding that from a product management perspective, which is AI product management. Or you can just get involved in governance to make sure that everybody else is doing their job right to get AI ready for us, right? So think about what you bring to the table. How, don't think that I'm an outsider, I don't know AI and this is all new. And you can create a path towards what you want to learn. So the foundation of machine learning, foundation of application level of AI, and then figuring out AI ethics, and then going the design route, a product route, a business development route, governance route. All of those are several paths, and there's tons of courses available out there. So I'm happy to talk to you if that's something that you're exploring. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm getting off into my weekend, and hope you have a fabulous weekend and stay safe. And good morning to Asia that's waking up. So maybe I'm able to see some of you from Asia who I've been chatting but not been able to talk live. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. So be sure to look at Menon's synthetic data video right here on YouTube, and then go check out IoT Slam, and then follow the many amazing women that I was talking to you. It happened to be women, but they're brilliant people in their industry, so I had to give their names. And talk to me. I'm here and hope I'll continue the conversation. Maybe I will see some of you at Oluneye's storyteller event on the 29th. And or you can always come see me at weekly Wednesday, where we have a fun conversation, and I get to party with my students. So I'll see you at weekly Wednesday at Business School of AI, or at one of the events, or online. And stay safe, and keep me posted on what your AI journey looks like and what is motivating you to actually consider even a journey like that. So, and remember, I'm here to help. Thank you. Bye, everybody.